Order. Tonight's board meeting is a little different than our regular board meeting. Tonight is our reorganizational board meeting, where we will elect a new president, a new chair, and a new vice chair. The superintendent acts as the chair until we get to item 4 on the agenda. Mr. Pletty is in Tallahassee at an important meeting, so he has asked me to sit at the dais and conduct this meeting on his behalf. So, the first thing we will do is we will stand and do the invocation and pledge, and if you would, remain standing and for a moment of silence. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory forever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would, please remain standing for a moment of silence in memory of Terry Mazzina. Mrs. Mazzina was employed at Central Elementary School from 1971 to 2009, where she served as a teacher, assistant principal, and principal. Also, we would like a moment of silence in memory of Ethelene Howard. Mrs. Howard was employed by the Food Service Department from 1970 to 2009. She worked as a food service worker and as a manager at Country Oaks Elementary School. Thank you. Please be seated. We have a special recognition tonight for Susan Pipkins. I don't see her in the audience. Susan Pipkins has served this district as a bus driver, oftentimes a thankless job. She did this job with love and affection for 33 years. We have a plaque for her, and we will make sure that she receives this plaque and our gratitude for her service to this district. Next on the agenda is the opportunity for citizen comment on any agenda item. Do we have any citizens who would like to speak tonight? Okay. Here we go to the organizational part. Board members, I now open the floor for nominations for chairman of the Board of Education.
I nominate Stephanie Busu.
Second.
We have a nomination of Stephanie Busen and a second. Any other nominations? I have a motion to cease nominations.
So moved. Second.
Okay, nominations have been ceased. All in favor of Stephanie Busen?
Aye.
Okay, Stephanie Busen it is. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I now call for nominations for the vice chair of the Board of Education.
I nominate Amanda.
Amanda Nelson's been nominated by Dr. Berg.
Second.
Second? We have a second? Any other nominations? Move to cease nominations?
So moved.
So moved. Okay, all in favor of Amanda Nelson being vice chair?
Aye.
Congratulations, Ms. Nelson.
Move.
Now, what we do now,
All right.
Huh?
Move down.
no, not yet.
Not yet.
We want to set the meeting dates, times, and locations for the board meetings moving forward. The first and second, third Tuesday of each month, beginning at 5:30, alternating between Clewiston and LaBelle, as outlined by the school board meeting calendar.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I request permission to allow the current digital signature of Reverend Brown, who is now the current chair, to remain in effect until we can get the digital signature changed in the next week or so.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations to our new board members. You may now change places, and Mrs. Busen will conduct the meeting moving forward.
We'll wait to get down here.
Our next order of business will be a presentation from Florida Southwestern Hendry Glade Center Director Amanda Larian, Jose Roquette, and Amanda Sturk. So you guys have the floor.
Thank you.
These are the presentations.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Well, we will get started. Thank you all for having us come this evening. We wanted to come and really share some of the wonderful things that we are doing here through Hendry County in partnership with both our school districts and all of our programming that we have. So some really great information that we have going on. So I'm Amanda Sturk, and I am the director of the dual enrollment program out at FSW. And one of the things I love to do is to really look at student data. What is going on with our students? And I was looking at this report, and I had called Dr. Igley, and I said, do you know what's happening here in Hendry County and how successful your students are being? I will say in terms of dual enrollment, you are the #1 growing county in the 5 county areas. That by far double-digit growth every single year. And that really has to do with the partnership that we have. And so you can see, these are your Hendry County statistics. On the left-hand side, you're gonna see we have the 2 programs, dual enrollment, which is part-time, and our early admission program is for juniors and seniors who come to our campus full-time, or part of our collegiate program out at Clewiston. So you can see exponentially that growth from just a few years ago to over 220 students are taking advantage of college coursework right now, which is fantastic. And you can also see the increase of college credits that are being earned and obtained is drastically increasing. What I am really proud of, and I know both Amanda and Jose as well, is the student success rates that we're seeing. We have some of the highest grade point averages coming out of Hendry County for all of our dual enrollment students. So when you're talking, 3.3, these are college GPAs, and our pass rates are exceptional as well, with over 90% getting C's or higher. And so I want to have Amanda talk about the Curtis pathway.
So we started a program 2 years ago called the Curtis Pathway Prep, and it is open to any student who is either going to attend or interested in attending the Hendry Glades Curtis Center or the Collegiate. And the idea at first was to reach students who had graduated from high school and needed extra preparation for college. They needed a little bit of a boot camp in math and English, or that maybe they had been out for a very long time and were coming back. But we kind of realized at some point as we were developing the program, which is a 6-week summer program for free to students. It isn't credit bearing, but it's entirely free and run by college faculty as well as staff. We realized that this might be a great program to introduce to high school students who were very close to passing their PERT. So the PERT was going to be used as our pre and post test, no matter what kind of student, whether they had graduated or they were a high school student interested in dual enrollment. And the idea was if it was a first time in college or FTIC student, they might be able to bypass a developmental class or Math 1033. And for dual enrollment, we wanted to track that improvement on the PERT to see if we could get them to test ready for college. Last summer was our second year. We had 53 out of 56 spots taken, so it was almost a full program. 45 students actually attended, as we all know, sometimes when it's a voluntary free program for not credit, sometimes they don't always show. In terms of persistence, we had 36 students at the end of 6 weeks. They met on Monday and Wednesday, and they had 4 hours of instruction in English and math, kind of a boot camp from professors. And then on Tuesdays, we did soft skills, how to be a college student, time management, etc. 83% of the students were potential dual enrollment. 17 were first time in college. On any given day, 50 to 70% of the students utilized busing from Clewiston and from Moorhaven. So we had donors who provided that busing, and the school districts worked with us to use school buses, which was the most expedient as well as well-priced option of all of our options. And in terms of improvement, we saw 52% gains in, or 52% of students gained in reading, 50% in writing, and 53% in math. And in general, about 70% of students showed gains in one or more area. So it was really effective. We netted some students, both the years that we have done this for dual enrollment, as well as the collegiate. And we also just had some students who had already tested into the collegiate but wanted a little more preparation before they hit that 11th grade year. So we were really excited about this program that's open to all students. And these are some pictures from our program, students getting used to the center and college in general. One program that we wanted to talk about in specific tonight is the collegiate at Clewiston. You guys may be familiar with the program. This is our third year. Started in 2017, and it's a school within a school model, so students take the bus to school and they reap all the benefits like free and reduced lunch and other services that the school provides. But in 11th and 12th grade, they take solely courses that are taught actually at this point by all FSW faculty who we send out to Clewiston. So instead of bringing the students to the center, we brought the curriculum and the faculty to the students in Clewiston and kind of worked a little bit around their schedule. We do still meet a college-style schedule 2 days a week generally rather than 5 days, 15 minutes. But the students are on the campus, but they are kind of in their own kind of physical area of the school. They do share the media center and then have lunch with the student population at large. But it really creates this great cohort of students. We have 50 seats available for juniors and then 50 seats for seniors following that. This year we were almost full at 50. So we have done a little bit of if a student wasn't ready in junior year and they get ready in senior year, we let them come in and take 1 year. But soon we may not be able to do that because we're getting so full of extraordinarily well-prepped juniors. And you can see some of the quotes there. I won't read them to you, but students definitely respond to the opportunity to take college courses, the savings, how they would be stressed thinking about how to do this on their own after high school. And the other thing, because it is a cohort and they are kind of grouped together, the thing that Jose and I constantly hear from students is the idea of they feel really safe. They have this great learning culture, and the drama of high school sometimes falls away. And they're just really focused on coursework and study groups, and I love it. It's a little kind of nerd haven when I go over there and I get to associate with it. It's the kind of thing I would have loved to have been able to do in high school. So I'm gonna talk to you about a little bit about the breakdown. You can see for yourself in terms of the student population that we're reaching with the program. The breakdown in terms of ethnicity, gender, and then our kind of junior and senior enrollment. And then I'm going to ask Jose to kind of follow up on some results and other information.
Yes, as you can see here, we have a 99% course pass rate. So we have about 1,000 grades, pretty close to 1,000 grades, 900 to 1,000 each year, and 99% of those grades are passing. So we're really excited about those results. I want to talk about earning the AA degree, that 94%. So our first cohort was of 31 students, and of those 31 students, 29 graduated with their AA. That's the 94%. We were very excited about that, and even the two that didn't, one of them ended up with 44 college credits, and the other ended up with 59. just one class short. Yeah, it was tough for everybody.
Yeah.
But so they've had great success that way. And over in the corner, the Earn Bright Futures, that's something I want to talk about as well. So before the collegiate began, we had about 4, 5, 6 students earning Bright Futures at Clewiston High School every year, and it had been for a couple of years. Since the collegiate, our numbers of Bright Futures are around 14 or 15 each year, and we're really excited about that. That's the 43%. Bright Futures, the first level is a $20,000 scholarship. The second level is about a $30,000 scholarship. So since the collegiate, we've had an increase of about 10 students every year earning Bright Futures. This year, for example, we've already gotten 14 students to qualify for Bright Futures already, and we've got another 5 or 10 that are still working on it, real close, and they have until June. So we feel like we've got a good shot at 20 this year. And you talk about 10 or 15 more students at $20,000 a scholarship. We're talking about $200,000 and $300,000 that Hendry County School Board students are earning, and I think in part because of the collegiate. So that's something we're real proud of.
And to tag on with that, we also now have the program of FGCU connection, so that a student who graduates with their AA from the collegiate has guaranteed entrance into FGCU, as well as a 3-year scholarship, not quite a full scholarship, but virtually.
It's $5,000
Yeah,
for 3 years.
It's a stunning opportunity.
And we're gonna have a student speak about part of their experience in here in just a little bit.
Taking advantage of that
Yeah.
scholarship. And I'll talk about that here in a second, but just to add, so FGCU added that partnership with us last year. So we have 10 students taking advantage of that, and it's $15,000 per student. So that's $150,000 of scholarships that Hendry County School Board students are earning because of the collegiate program. And so, again, it's your investment, your dollars being leveraged and extended further. So we all should be real proud of that. So,
Mr. Roquette?
yes, ma'am.
Can I ask you one question?
Please.
On Bright Futures, what's the criteria?
So, and that's a great question, and that's important for you all to be aware. So Bright Futures, there's a testing criteria and a GPA criteria, and there's 2 levels, okay? So the lower level is you need an 1170 on the SAT or a 26 on the ACT. And if you get that, you get $5,000 a year for 4 years, a total of $20,000, okay? And that goes along with a 3.0 GPA. The higher level is a 1290, I'm sorry, because it just changed. So a 1290 in the SAT, a 29 on the ACT, or a 3.5 GPA. That's the higher level, and that's about $30,000. Now, that is only for this year's senior class. This is something that's real tough, and for you all to be really aware. The state legislature in this summer just passed a law increasing those standards. So here we went from 8 years ago, we used to have 40 students qualify for Bright Futures. That's the money that we get from the Florida Lottery. So the state, 6, 7, 8 years ago, dramatically increased how difficult it was. And we went from 40 students a year to 5 to 10. And so that took money out of Floridians' pockets. So we just kind of got back to where we were getting 15. We've got 20 this year, and for next year they've increased what students have to do to qualify. So they haven't given us the exact numbers, but the lower level's looking at like a 1200 SAT versus the 1170 now. The higher level's a 1330 SAT versus a 1290 now. So it's only gotten more difficult. It's a frustrating thing, and again, it's taking money out of parents' pockets. So any chance that you get to speak to state legislators, that's something that really is unfortunate and frustrating for us.
So that's why the Curtis prep is so important, because all that's part of that test prep, right? Getting used to those college level exams, and what I know Jose and the Clewiston does really well is starting that testing earlier. They start doing PERT as early as 10th grade. So if they need additional remediation, they're getting it before they hit that junior, senior year, so they'll be more prepared for the Bright Futures ACT, SAT test coming up.
And it's exposure in high school to college faculty and instruction. Even if they don't hit PERT for dual enrollment, that exposure for 6 weeks, I have to imagine, lends well towards the SAT and ACT.
Certainly.
Mr. Roquette, where are, you have 99% of our kids with passing their courses. and we're getting 43 hitting the criteria for Bright Futures. Where are our kids coming up short? Is it on the GPA or is it on the testing?
The testing, the GPA is, we have, for example, in the senior class, I'd say 90 students that have a 3.0 GPA out of our 215. We've got a big number, so it's certainly not just GPA, it's the testing standards. And so just for example, so this year we've got 14 students that qualified for Bright Futures. Several of them, I'd say 4 or 5, qualified at the 1170 SAT score. So next year they would not qualify. And you can imagine it's a very difficult thing. 10 points is the difference between 0 scholarship and $20,000. And so especially coming from our demographic background, that scholarship can make or break a student's ability to go to college. And so it's a very frustrating experience for us. Like I said, 8 or 9 years ago or 6 years ago when they changed it, it literally took money out of senior parents' pockets. 30 parents a year went from getting $20,000 in scholarships to not getting, and that was just at our high schools. You can imagine across the state what that led to.
And the raising of the standard was just out of the blue, it's gonna raise them.
So the state, I think, wanted to save money, right? I mean, isn't that what it's always about? So they wanted to save money. This year, it was, the representative said that the reason he was doing that was because at the new level, it was like 25%, it was the 75th percentile. So it was for students that scored better than 75% of the nation. And so he said that that was some important metric for Bright Futures to meet, and really, it's an arbitrary metric that we didn't have to meet if we didn't want to. It's again, just more money savings for the state. So I'll tell you some more about the program. We started out with 31 students in 17-18. We went to 34, 18, 19, and this year, and when I'm talking about juniors, we have 44 juniors in the program. So we are growing. We're very closely reaching that 50 cap, and we expect that in the coming years, we're probably going to reach it and have to, students that qualify tell them that maybe we don't have room for them just because of the size of the classes.
Wow.
Yeah. We have 79 total students. 35 of those are seniors. So 44 juniors, 35 seniors. Of those 35 seniors, 28 are from the original cohort. So if you all look up there, 34 from 18-19, those were juniors last year, they're seniors this year. So 28 of those remain with the program, and I want to be real specific about this. So of the 6 that are no longer with us, 2 moved away, okay? And 4 found that it wasn't right for them. You can imagine that being a successful college student at college age level is difficult, much less at the high school junior and senior level. And so the experience I've had, what I've found is that sometimes it's just best for both parties, for the student to just kind of go back into the high school and move through that way. So while we do have 44 juniors this year, I'm not sure that we'll have 44 juniors earn their AAs, and it might be best for them that they don't. But that is the way we're going through and what we've learned, lessons learned in the time that we've gone through the program.
And as we do see, I think, a progression towards higher rates of application, that process may affect the numbers. Right now, any student who qualifies and wants to come in is coming in. And so that may affect that amelioration from junior to senior year as well.
Success rate for sure. So college acceptances, we're very excited. Every major college, university in the state of Florida has accepted a collegiate student. And I was just going to mention the FGCU scholarship, which we already talked about. So this year already, we've gotten acceptances, and we're very early from Florida Southern. The student that got that acceptance also got $90,000 in scholarships offered to her. We've got several acceptances to Nova Southeastern, with each student with about $80,000 in scholarships. And we've also already gotten acceptances to UCF. And today, I didn't put it here because we just found out today that several students were accepted to FAU. And of course, the FGCU acceptances are automatic at the 3.0 GPA level. So we're very excited at the success that our kids are having, and universities across the state are noticing. This was us last year visiting FIU. And so we've tried to do more of this. In fact, next week during our Thanksgiving break, I'm taking 25 of our students to USF, University of South Florida in Tampa, on Monday, and then on Tuesday I'm taking 40 of our students to Florida Gulf Coast. We're trying to kind of deepen our relationship there. They invited us, they're comping our student to a basketball game, and so, you know, we're seeing where that can go to benefit our students in the county.
Cool.
So one thing I want you all to take away is that the biggest benefit to our students is the transition that it provides between high school and college. High school and college are tremendously different, and only now have I come to appreciate that. Really, at the high school level, what you find is that teachers take on so much of the responsibility of the learning, okay? And at the college level, professors take on zero of the responsibility. Not an iota.
They make sure learning's available.
That's from a college
A
professor.
former professor.
Really, you know, the professors teach and they say it's up to you to learn it, and if you don't learn it, you know, that's between you, God, and your parents, right? And so it is such a dramatic shift for students. It requires them to develop prioritization skills, time management skills, multitasking skills, right? Because you've got these kids that don't even have the same class all week at the same time. You know, Monday, Wednesday from 8:40 to 10, they've got one class, and Tuesday, Thursday from 8:40 to 10, they've got another. All right, and so they've got a math assignment, and they've got a social studies assignment, and they've got this philosophy assignment, you know, Tuesday, Thursday, and they've got to kind of take their time and work on one assignment, work on the other. On tests, for example, you go from seeing your teacher 90 times a semester to seeing your professor only 30 times. And so your professor can't possibly go over all the material in the book. And so in high school, a lot of students, you know, never quite get to cracking the book, whereas in college, you don't crack the book and you're going to fail. You know, and so you've got these students that for a test that's coming up 3 weeks from now, they've got to start studying now. You know, and that requires discipline. It requires discipline to put down the video games and to turn off the TV and to say no to your friends to go work out or whatever, because you've got to study for a test 3 weeks from now. And so our students are developing those skills. They're developing their study skills, and this is causing them to mature and become more independent, right? And so for all of the parents here, we know that the most important thing for our kids, is that they become independent. That we know that the day that we're no longer here, that they can sustain themselves, right? And so this program that you all are investing in is helping to foster that. And of course, we've got so many kids who are first time in college, 70%, 80%, and so they don't have a support network at home that can help them when they run into trouble. And so without this program, they'd go away to college, they'd run up against all these different things, they wouldn't have anybody at home to help them, and they'd wash right out. And so the collegiate and dual enrollment, these programs help students gain the confidence necessary in order to be successful, so that once they get there, the only thing different is that they're now away, but they're doing the same thing that they were doing at home. So I'd like you to hear from 2 different students. We brought 2 students to talk to you today. One is Grayson Brooks. She is a member of last year's inaugural graduating class, and the other is Aaron Ramirez. He's one of our juniors. So if you could please give the floor to Grayson. She's going to tell you a little bit about her experience.
The lights. You want the lights?
Do you need lights?
How hard would you like us to stand?
It's fine, I don't like lights.
There you go.
Wake them up.
Good evening, my name is Grayson Brooks, and I'm the 2019 graduate of Clewiston High School and Collegiate Academy, being the first class to receive my AA along with my high school diploma. Today, I'm going to share with you how the Collegiate Academy helped me and shaped me into the student I am today. As I stand before you this evening, I can say with total confidence that I would not be the successful student I am at Florida Gulf Coast University if it weren't for the Collegiate Academy. The transition from living at home to being completely on your own, having to answer to no one, can be overwhelming to some people. However, the Collegiate Academy provides a stepping stone in between. You're treated as an adult, but you also have your director there, mentoring you and helping you as much as possible. Mr. Roquette showed me how not to just survive in the college world, but how to thrive in it. He taught me that in the Collegiate Academy, just like everything else in life, you're not going to get a reward for just showing up. You get out of it what you put in. Now, I may not have him next to me, but his lessons are still fresh in my mind. I implement time management that he showed me, and I hold myself accountable for my grades and my actions, no longer needing someone to answer to because he trained me to answer to myself. The Collegiate Academy gave me the confidence to go off and step out of my comfort zone, not just in the classroom, but in my personal life as well. Joining a sorority is something I never thought I'd do, but I did, and I think I'm a better person and a student because of it. My sisters all think it's so cool that I came with my AA. They often refer to me as the genius 5-year-old because I'm so young but so old with my credits. But they're wrong. It doesn't take a genius. It takes someone with a drive, constant motivators behind you, and great mentors. It takes an army. Recently, a sister approached me and said, Grayson, I'm going to be completely honest, I have never heard of Clewiston, nor do I know where it's at. But I think it's so neat that your community takes such an impact on your life with your academics. And that honestly warmed my heart. I'm content with people never knowing where Clewiston is, but at least they know how much my community invests in their students. That's a testament to y'all, my school board. So personally, I thank you. Thank you for setting me up for success and investing in my future. I'm forever grateful for my small town and the people who work so hard for us.
Hello, my name is Hendry. First and foremost, I would like to thank you guys and everyone that makes the program possible because I can honestly say that with this program, my life and the life of others has been really impacted in ways that you guys probably aren't even aware of. Obviously, I learned so much from my professors. They push us to not just, a lot of times in regular education, all you do is memorize information, but with the professors at FSW that come down, they teach us to analyze, they teach us to create our own ideas, and I think that's what really boosts our learning capability. But of course, we learn so much, and we get our AA, of course, but one of the main things I've learned being at FSW is that relationships are so important. I think everyone has a close group of friends that they hang with that help them get through trouble, and college is difficult if you don't have people around you that support you, like Mr. Roquette, like Director Leary, and like people who are your support group. And they have taught me at FSW that relationships are the key to life. I mean, I want to be a business major, and in business, the one thing that you're going to learn is that networking is so important. And being at FSW teaches me that my friends, you know, of course we like to goof off and we like to have fun, but first it's about making sure that we're in the right path. And FSW has taught me that. They have taught me to be organized. They have created a good work ethic in me, because before FSW I was not organized. I did not have a good work ethic. I did it just to survive school. But when I joined FSW, it was so much more about surviving, as Brooke said, but it's about thriving. And honestly, I can say that FSW has created that great work ethic inside of me. And I can advocate for what Director Leary was saying, is that we create these groups of not just friends, but we create this support group, this system where, are you getting your assignments in? Do you need help with them? And we just have a great big family in the collegiate, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I have to be in there with not just other students, but with people that I can call my family and friends. Thank you.
Well, obviously, these stories are extremely compelling. It always moves me to tears just thinking about the impact. So one of the things that our provost, Dr. DeLuca, had asked and said, you know, you got something really special out here in Hendry County. I think we have this award every year that comes up. It's called the Chancellor's Best Practice out of the entire Florida college system. And just so you know, there are actually 28 state colleges throughout the state of Florida. So we're just one of 28. And FSW put forth all of this student data and information that you saw. And here's the video, and you will find out what happened.
And while we're getting there, just to clarify, Clewiston is first of its kind.
Yes, it is. So
There is no other collegiate that is at a distance where all the faculty are being taken from a college location and brought to the students. So it really is a very
innovative.
It's a unicorn.
Yeah.
People call it home.
It's not playing.
Let me, sorry.
That's why I made her do this part.
Yeah, that's great. How do we take that off?
So the new PowerPoint takes over the computer.
Oh, well, that's nice. Can we just,
Can we get the video to play?
Let's see.
sorry. You could always just cancel the PowerPoint and bring it back. Sorry.
How many educators does it take?
Yeah, to fix the slideshow. Usually the kids would be up here. And
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Good move.
All right, we'll start over. Sorry about that.
8,000 people
call it home. It's a small town filled with Big Sugar and nearly 35 miles from the nearest college. But in that town, there's a hidden gem.
That's whenever we're gonna put them here.
FSW's Collegiate Institute at Clewiston High School. There are 80 students with very unique stories of why they want to be here.
My mom and my dad, they're both immigrants. They're both from Mexico, and they motivate me so much.
Ever since I was in middle school, I always wanted to do collegiate because it lets money on my mom when I go to college.
There are multiple reasons why CHS was chosen as a site for FSW's Collegiate Institute.
Florida Southwestern State College sought to increase student achievement and college and career readiness by establishing a collegiate program for students in counties with limited access to dual enrollment programs. The first consideration is the site location's geography. Clewiston High School is located 33 miles from the nearest post-secondary center. Second consideration was the desire to provide college access to a diverse population of students. Over 75% of students are eligible for free and reduced lunch. The population is 80% minority, with Hispanic and Black as the two largest ethnicities represented. The third consideration was the lack of eligible credentialed instructors to teach college coursework. Less than 9% of the county has a bachelor's degree or higher, making for the promotion of concurrent coursework difficult.
Into your sample and let go of the button. Your bubbles there.
The results speak volumes with achievement rates that have never been seen before within the county.
I would say that it's an opportunity to really push yourself and to know what you're made of.
The professors are amazing. They all love doing the job and they love helping us.
Apart from you getting your A and apart from it being like a great experience, I would say that it's really just, it prepares you for life in general.
So we put that video together. Let's see if I can get the PowerPoint back up here. And lo and behold, let's go. Slide. I think I went to the beginning on accident.
That's all right.
That's all right.
Just to review.
We're reviewing everything. Let's start from the beginning. We're almost done, I promise. We won. So we want to really tell you congratulations from FSW to Henry County and everything, and all the support that we've received from you is that we were able, first time I believe in FSW history, that we actually won the Chancellor's Best Practice. So we were very excited and really
And also to clarify, we were able to share that video
Yes.
with all of the college presidents and colleges that were in attendance so that they could see the model that Hendry
Absolutely.
has become for the first of its kind to reach geographically challenged students as opposed to just kind of waiting for them to figure out how to reach you.
And so on that note, I'm going to skip that page. Looking ahead, so all the wonderful things that Amanda is doing out at the LaBelle Center, what is going on out there?
Well, so moving forward, a couple of interesting things that we're looking at. So we do have the Curtis Scholarship, which has been re-envisioned. It used to be called like the AA Scholarship. Not the case anymore. If students from LaBelle graduate with their AA, and I did want to mention, we reached out to LaBelle to get their specific numbers, and we weren't able to gather that data of number of students graduating with AAs as well as other information before this meeting. But we are working on compiling that so we can keep better track of it from the school. But now, if a student graduates with their AA from LaBelle High School, they can use Curtis to attend for 5 semesters up to and including 18 credits each to receive a degree, as long as they are degree seeking. So they could go on and get their bachelor's completely covered by Curtis if they're eligible. We're also working on instant decision days. We actually just had our first one at Moorhaven today, and we had about 20 students, from what I've heard, who are graduating seniors. And in one day, they had their application fee waived. They applied to the college. They were accepted. We reviewed their FAFSA to make sure there was nothing kind of astray that they needed to look at. We processed their residency and we put them all on the same orientation date so they can carpool to the location. So aside from getting up and making them breakfast on their first day of school after they graduate, we've taken care of it. And we look forward to hopefully offering the same at LaBelle and Clewiston. We've reached out for dates. LaBelle had to cancel, so we're looking to reschedule and do the same. We are growing in terms of full-time faculty. In 3 short years since I've been director, we have gone from 5 full-time faculty to 12. which is a huge impact and brings those faculty out to teach you guys that are so valuable to the program. We are increasing our course offerings. We now firmly offer everything for students to get their AA without ever leaving our location at LaBelle or Clewiston. We also now have all the prerequisites for the nursing program, and including second level biology, A&P 1 and 2, nutrition. So we've increased the offerings there as far as we can without having all the expensive medical equipment. And one thing I'm really excited to share that I think is going to go well beyond impacting our high school students is that for the first time in fall 2020, LaBelle Hendry Glades location will offer a full course offering for a bachelor's program, and that bachelor will be the Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education. So we are going to grow our own educators, or grow educators from elsewhere, but get them here. And additionally, I'm very excited to announce students from LaBelle could take advantage of the Curtis Scholarship to get their Bachelor in Education at our location. But 2 weeks ago, I also was able to work with a donor, and we have our first 2-year scholarship for a resident of Hendry or of Hendry County, so LaBelle or Clewiston, Hendry or Glades counties, for the program in the Bachelor of Science of Elementary Education. So students graduating from the collegiate, if they were interested, could apply for that scholarship. It is the first 2-year scholarship. It's about $12,500 is the rough estimate. It should cover tuition, fees, and even put some money towards books. And I look forward to hopefully working with other community members to get additional scholarships. And also, this is a program that might be open to any school district employees who have their AA. So I did have a little bit of an advertisement or flyer for the program for you to share. To be eligible for the bachelor's program, students have to have a 2-year or equivalent degree. They also have to have taken EDF 2005, which we're offering this spring. So if they don't have it, they can get it this spring at LaBelle. That information is on here. Also, we're very excited that, well, we're not excited. The GKT is a little bit of a toughie, the general knowledge test. To get into the program, you do have to have passing scores, but we are excited that if you don't already have passing scores, in May and June, we will be offering the free GKT prep course at the LaBelle location, taught by faculty and probably myself. So we have all that available to anyone who is either in the high schools currently or who is working in the school district or in the area that has a degree and would like to further that education. So this is an opportunity to kind of train our own as well as grow our own. And anybody in the audience who's interested in one or could get this anywhere in the schools, please feel free to snag some of these from me. I think this dovetails really well, and of course not all the collegiate students or the students graduating from LaBelle with their AA are going into education, but for those that want to, we now have this program available at our location. And this is the first cohort. We hope to have a cohort every year. And they're all evening classes, so if you are working in the school district, you would be able to do that during the day, or if you had an AA and you wanted to sub, you could do that during the day, and then the Department of Education is going to work to place you within the school district that you're already working at or affiliated with.
That's fantastic.
Very exciting.
Thank you very much for having us come out.
Dr. Larian, I have one question just for my own personal knowledge.
Yes.
Do the Collegiate Institute students have to complete a FAFSA before joining the Institute?
No,
Okay.
but we do work with them their senior year. FSW comes out and does FAFSA nights for all of our schools at request, so we help them with that process. But no, dual enrollment students don't have to provide any of that. It really is GPA and PERT score, yeah.
We do work hard with them to try to get every one of them to, because so many of our kids qualify. The full benefit right now is $6,200, a Pell Grant, and so that can go a long way towards helping students pay for their classes.
Well, that's fantastic, and I appreciate the FSWs and the district's responsiveness to the community conversation about the need and the investments that you guys are making with your staff. And the student testimonies tonight were powerful, Grayson. Very powerful, and it was so. that is the great thing about, Hendry County rallying around the needs of the kids. So, so thank you all for the presentation, and thank you to the students for coming, and that was a powerful testimony. So thank you.
Thank you much. Thank you.
And you're always glad to leave.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Egley, do you have a recommendation on the consent agenda?
Yes, I recommend approval of the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, sorry, any discussion? I'm sorry. Got excited there.
Where are we now?
Consent agenda.
Mr. Vestal might have something.
Okay.
Well, you're scrolling.
Well, I always look at the finances, and it seems, I know our budget is steadily increasing. We're steady spending more money all the time. Just kind of curious on one of these here, 345% increase in instruction-related technologies. Yeah. What did we do for that big of an increase? I'm just kind of curious, why was it such a large jump? Do you have any idea? And on the one above it, staff training, instructional staff training.
6,400 and 6,500 on the financial.
Those are some significant jumps. I'm just kind of curious why all of a sudden the large jumps. Does anybody have any idea?
I don't have to get up, do I? I can speak from here. I'm so used to getting up, but you don't want me up there. I don't have. I was ready to answer another question, so you didn't ask the right question.
I didn't ask the right question.
If I could ask you to ask a different question, because my answer was, and that was over on the other page, why control and other expenses were up so much.
I was headed there next, so
Okay,
go
and
right
that's
ahead.
due to Best and Brightest.
Okay.
Best and Brightest was paid this past, during this month. And although the money was budgeted, we budgeted over in superintendent, so I'll be doing a budget amendment to that. But that is why that one was over. So for your 6,400 and 6,500, I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
It's clear that last year was a low number, but I'm not sure why this year is a higher number.
Yeah, it's quite a
That was
bit
really,
different.
that sounded lamer than it was.
And so,
But it's a digital classroom grant, but I don't know why we've spent more yet.
We have more. We just didn't spend a lot of time.
Okay. Digital classroom grant, but I can actually provide better details as well. Because I appreciate that kind of overlooking, when you all look at that, I appreciate that, because I know what you're interested in.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. And then the other thing is, we've got an expenditure here in the 7,000s for the object, 7,000s, it says other. That's a pretty broad answer, other. I'm just kind of curious. I mean, it says last year we spent $209,000 in other.
I have
What
that.
would,
Other would be, it's supposed to be transfers, debt, and other, and I don't know why it doesn't,
has a separate line item?
it doesn't, that's other debt and transfers. I think that's supposed to be combined together.
Oh, that's
So
supposed
that
to
is
be combined together?
You have found my typo.
Okay.
So those are
okay.
supposed to be on the
Because the
same
debt
line.
transfers are all zeros, so I was like, what is other?
I'll fix that.
Okay. Very good. I think that was, appears that our energy savings is, that we've done with that P&L, is that what the energy savings I saw there? Is that working from what I'm seeing in the numbers? Maybe Mr. McCarthy might know a little bit more about that, or what page was that?
I don't, since I don't get what you get, I don't know what you're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah, I really can't answer that question, although I'll have the full interview report for your next meeting.
Okay.
Done with all the updates, which will include, well, it's through June, so it'll give us 2 or 3 months of it, so you'll see those savings. There were some glitches in it. We were missing some June of 2017 data,
Okay.
which was screwing our savings, because it was literally missing off of it, so that was showing that we had 0 bills. So anyway, we're fixing those.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Yeah, I just will see, I saw the savings right there and I thought, well, that's good. Then the FP&L stuff that we did, is doing what it's supposed to do. So that's good. That was the only question I had. Thank you.
Do we have any further discussion on the consent agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Board member business. Do you have anything, Superintendent, or
I have
Deputy
nothing.
Superintendent?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Reverend Brown, you have anything?
No, ma'am, just glad to be on this end of the table.
Board member Batsman?
I'm good, thank you.
Dr. Berg?
Are we doing item 6A?
6, just for the other
RFP? Am I looking at the wrong paper?
business. Did you print this or did Beverly give you this?
Beverly.
Just an old one.
She got an old one.
Oh.
That's why
Yeah.
this is not.
All right.
This is, ours is a single, hers is a double. This is from October 15th.
Excuse me, together.
Okay, we're just gonna recycle that.
I'm good.
Board member Nelson?
Yes,
Vice Chair?
I wanted to say that the Golden Apple presentations yesterday and today were phenomenal. We have some outstanding teachers and employees. Thank you. I'm glad we got to participate. That's all.
It was fantastic. I want to thank Dr. Berg and the rest of my colleagues for this opportunity. I know we came off a very challenging year last year that had a lot of opportunity to fracture this board, and I'm really proud of us collectively and individually for pushing through that, and I think it's really solidified and laser focused our goal on students and achievement and creating the culture in this county, and I'm just very proud of everybody individually and collectively, and thank you for this opportunity, and I strive to serve well. So if there will be no other business before the board, I will adjourn the meeting.